Hello and welcome to Twilight Online Tutoring. I'm your host, Ozeju. Today we are looking at simplifying surds for Form 4. This is BGCSE Mathematics. Without further ado, let's get started. So when we are simplifying surds, we are going to look at multiplication and division, right? When we are given the square root of a times the square root of b is same as, say, the square root of both a, b, right? Now let me expand this. So when we have the square root of a times the square root of b is same as saying the square root of a times b, right? This is the same as say the square root of a times the square root of b equals the square root of a b. Remember, when we say a times b is same as say ab, right? Let's say you are asked to simplify the square root of 8, right? What do? We are going to look at number 8. So we have number 8 and we look at the factors of 8. We know that 1 times 8 is 8, 2 times 4 is 8, and then we have 4 times 2 is 8, and 8 times 1 is 8. Now, to the factors of 8, we want that factor that is a perfect square. Remember, when we talk about perfect square, we mean a number when we multiply by itself, it gives you that number, right? Let's say we have 1 times 1, it gives us 1. That's a square number. 2 times 2, that will be 4. 4 is perfect square number, right? So here we have 4. We come back to our equation. We're going to say the square root of 2 is same as say square root of 2 times the square root of 4, right? We are using this law here, right? So the square root of 2 times the square root of 4, since we know that 4 is a perfect square, right? The square root of 4 is what? 2. So we're going to have the square root of 2 times 2, right? So we're going to assume that there's a 1 here, so we're going to say 2 times 1, right? And then we have 2 root 2, right? That's how we simplify the square root of 8. Let's look at another example. Maybe you are given what? Square root of 12. What are we going to do? We are going to look for the factors of 12, right? That has a perfect square. So we know that 1 times 12 is 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. Now we can see that 4 here. So we're going to write 12 again. Square root of 3 times 4. Remember, we are writing 12 here. Now, to go back to this part, we know that this same as say multiply the square root of a times the square root of b, right? So this same as say the square root of 3 times the square root of 4, right? Now we know that the square root of 4 is 2. So we're going to say, so let's assume that there's a 1 here. So we're going to say 2 times 1, then we have 2 root 3. That's how we do it in multiplication. And then now let's look at division, right? I don't want to make this lesson long. So we're going to say if you have the square root of a divided by the square root of b is same as say the square root of both a divided by b, right? this can be written as the square root of a over the square root of b is the same as, say, the square root of a divided by b, right? Now let's say they say you have the square root of 27 divided by the square root of 3. We are going to say 27, remember we are going to this law, we are taking this to this law, right here. 27 divided by 3, 27 divided by 3. So after we see that 27 divided by 3 is what? 9. So since we know that 9 is a perfect square, remember 3 times 3 is 9. So 9 is a perfect square, we need to simplify it. So we're going to have what? 3. Remember the rule of indices again here. Remember we said the square root is same as power half. Third root is same as power 1 over 3. Fourth root power 1 over 4. So the other way we can write the square root of 9, we can say that since 3 times 3, remember 3 to the power 1, so we add powers, is equals to what? 3 squared. Now we have the square root. We said square root is what? Is power half. So we're going to cancel this 2 with this, right? And then we'll remain with 1 times 1, 3 to the power 1. So 3 to the power 1 is 3, like this. That's how we do division. So let's take another example that may involve both multiplication and division, right? Square root of 28 plus of 63, right? How to deal with this question? The first thing that we need to separate our numbers here, right? So we have this part. We're going to deal with this first part, and then we take the second part. So with the first part, we have 28. What are we going to do with 28? We're going to break it down, right? So we're going to look whether it has a perfect square, the factors of 28, that is a perfect square, and then we simplify it. So we're going to write 28, right? Remember, we have 1 times 28, 2 times 14 is 28, 4 times 7, yeah, 4 times 7. Automatically we know that 4 is a perfect square. So what are we going to do? We're going to write this. We're going to use these factors to write this 28. We're going to say the square root of 4 times the square root of 7. Remember this same as say the square root of, let me write here, the square root of 4 times 7, right? When we expand it, it's going to be the square root of 4 times the square root of 7. Remember the law of multiplication that I taught you before. So now we have the square root of 4. We know that the square root 4 is a perfect square, so we're going to have 2. And then we say times, let's assume there's a 1 here. So 2 times 1 is 2, and then we have the square root of 7. So we just multiply 2 and 1, right? And leave the square root as it is, right? Remember, this like saying 3 times 2a. So we don't do anything to a, we just say 3 times 2, and then we have 6a, right? This is the concept that I use here. We are done with the first part. Let's continue to the second part. What are we going to do with the second part? We have 63, right? So we're going to look at the factors of 63, but I will be quick on this one because I know that 7 times 9 is 63, right? I'm going to use 7 and 9, right? Let me see the square root of 7 times square root of 9. But you can also start with the square root of perfect square, right? So we know that the square root of 9 is what? 3, right? Times the root of 7. So we assume there's a 1 here, and then I will say 3 times 1, and then 3 root 7, right? As you can see here, we have two things here: 2 root 7 plus 3 root 7. There is something that is common here, right? So you can see here we have root 7, and here we have root 7, right? Let's assume we are in algebra and say write 2a plus 3a. So let's assume that root 7 equals a, right? So when we are in algebra, we are asked to add these two together. Well, what we are going to say, we are going to say 2 plus 3, and then we say 5, and then we keep a, right? So when we remove a or replace a, we are going to have 5 and then root 7. That is what is happening here. So we're going to say 2 plus 3, and then we have 5 root 7. That's how we do it, right? I think we are done for today. See you next time.